This is your daily market review for Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review for Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you get a chance, check out the live market chat we held today. Pretty awesome, as I like to say, just not because of anything other than the content, what we talked about, being careful with miners and all sorts of other things within the market and tech. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link in the description below. Yeah, going into the end of the month, we've got big data coming tomorrow. As we know, the GDP data is pretty much juiced for government spending, war spending overseas. How's that really affecting the U.S. economy? It's interesting to see the local economic, United States data falling off a cliff, but we'll see how that affects GDP in time. Again, in my mind, this is a ticking time bomb. We talked about this yesterday, that the Google searches for soft landing is at an incredible level that hasn't been seen since 2008 and 2000. Because I don't think there is going to be a soft landing, in my opinion. What's going on is dangerous. But again, that's the thing about the market. You don't know when it's going to turn. So please be careful. If you have any questions, join the Discord room, link section below. Hit me up on Calendly if you want to schedule something and we can chat. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube. Check out this first and last 3 business days of the month. It's well worth it. Also, check out my website, thetradingagent.com. Should be refreshing every 3 hours. Hopefully, the live chat is up on there. Yep, there it be. So, also check out the recommended reading. There's a link to Discord room. Get your referral with Interactive Brokers, and also get your 5.5% with Marcus. I'm telling you, it is well worth it. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, there's tons of education videos. It's also on my website. If you have any real estate questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Had some nice chats today with some potential clients today, and hopefully everything works out. Love to help them out. So, also follow on Twitter. There's a lot going on, y'all. There is a lot. And we talked about this. I mean, here you go. Here's the Google searches. Oh, I got to pull through some of these. Check this out. Interesting, right? All right, FedWatch tool. We know nothing's going on here for the next meeting at this point. I mean, you could get a cut. Oh, not available today. Oh, no. We could get a Fed cut if the market starts dropping. Check this out with Bitcoin, because this is what's so hard, right? This is why you never know where it's going to go. In my opinion, we talked about getting stuck up and around here. It breaks out, right? And then look at the volume. This is where it's scary. To me, it's like, you got to take profits. You absolutely got to take profits near term. You got to roll up your stops. I mean, is it going to break out? I mean, everyone's chasing for the end of the month. I mean, to new all-time highs. I don't know. I mean, 69,000. I mean, it's in shooting distance. It's interesting, though. It just basically hadn't gotten to 65,000, but it's close enough. And then again, I hope, for God's sake, the people who own it, that it's going to continue going higher. But man, these straight line moves are very dangerous. Worst case scenario, they lead to chop. Just be careful. That's all I can say. I mean, I'd hate to be someone who owned it for the long run and never took profit and then get stuck. Hopefully that never happens. Never, never, never. But just in case, be careful. Oil, chopping around, natural gas. We talked about great bottom execution down here. Looking good. Let's get into the stocks. Oh God, snow after hours down 175. Yikes. I mean, some of these names, we talked about just, don't even want to talk about it. I mean, the market is just beating some of these names down, but it'll hold up with certain tech names. It's irony. Dollar holding the 20-day. We said chop. We said TLT seems to be finding a base between this 92 and 94 range. So far, it is in the base. VIX starting to, again, we talked about higher highs and higher lows. Engulfing bar, I'd be watching for tomorrow's action. If it gaps up, I think you might have bigger moves up in the VIX, down in the market. VIX, VIXIN, same kind of thing. Just chopping, chop. People say, oh, the market's going to pull back. It's like, it's getting stuck. I mean, if you look at different indexes, you get different results. You look at the stock market as overall, it's not healthy. It's just a few names leading. Well, what do? that's what we said. Define your risk, pick your names, and stick to them, and roll up your stops. Take profits the more you're up. SPY after hours down at, man, 504. It's got to hold this level. I mean, this is such a trap in my opinion. Look at the straight line this. I mean, you go from 410 up to 510 in a straight line essentially. Way too fast. Dangerous. QQQ starting to get tired. Look at this double top. Thought it was going to break down. Bounces back. Hard to say. IWM chasing into the end of the month. Remember, it's the first and last 3 business days of the month. Oof, tough to say. DIA chopping. This one's been holding up better, but I'd watch the 20-day. Keep it simple. Gold, in my opinion, again, I'm waiting for the breakout. You couldn't pay me to buy this stuff. And if you want to buy the miners because you think it's a risk reward, then be careful. Because if the VIX does explode, the market does do what we think it's going to do, I don't think the miners have a chance. But again, wait till the Feds pivot. Wait for gold to break out. I mean, silver just looks so bad. I know some folks are taking a stab at GDX today. Again, the levels make sense. The levels make sense, no doubt. I've seen this action before, and I did not think they could get to 16 and they'd hold like 7. I mean, they were at like 22, 24, and then just the bottom dropped out. Because again, they're tied to credit. That's the hardest thing here. They have credit issues potentially because they borrow a ton of money. The market locks up. Be careful. Again, AEM. All these names, a big chop zone. AG near the lows, just uglier than sin. Newmont making multi-year lows, uglier than sin. PAAS, just it's got nothing. So if you want to jump in that space, please, just 10 cuidado. Taiwan semis, we talked about this one thing was about to make probably a lower high and start to turn south. Chop, chop. I would not be surprised if we fill this gap at 125, said in the live chat. Micron gets the boost, the chip boost. But look at this. Like every day it's up. I mean, they're just selling all day. AM Dizzle. Check this out, right? Chop, chop. Again, if you bought at the highs, silly. NVDA. It's got to hold here. 2-day range. I mean, this feels like the top. I mean, these straight line moves are so dangerous. SMCI. Again, here's an example of a straight line move that just goes into a chop mode. No interest in that. Intellectual property. Head and shoulders, top, left shoulder, right shoulder line. I mean, once it breaks 41, it's over. If it holds it could hold up. SMH, as we talked about, chopping. I mean, this one's interesting, right? I mean, it hits the channel high. It goes, again, another bonkers move. 138 to 214. I mean, after it split. Big gap. And we talked about this in 2000 and March 2000. These big gaps at the highs were dangerous, and I still believe they are. Adobes, we talked about this. Double top, failing, holding the 200-day, chopping around. Apple holding on for dear life, has to hold this 179, 180 level. The Amazonian riding the channel high. So far, I mean, it looks okay, but it could be a double top. Meta, everybody keeps saying 500 is coming. Chop top. I mean, is it coming? I mean, it just seems to not be able to stay over the 490. CRM. I mean, Zuckerberg can't sell fast enough. I mean, that's the reality here. Here you go, CRM, chopping at the highs. Yeah, good question. You know, I don't know. Be careful, Google. Here's another one. Talked about like lagging, like Apple, some of these names lagging. I mean, channel lows. I mean, Heroes were talking about buying the dip yesterday or the 100-day. Oops. Heroes become zeros sometimes again. I mean, at the highs, when you're just silly. Microsoft chopping out. We talked the 415 area. Looks like a head and shoulders top. Talked about NDAQ being toast. It's just a matter of when. MicroStrategy again. Bitcoin pops. Congrats. I just don't like these dojis. And look at the, oh my God, I didn't even see that. Holy shit. Isn't it? Oh my God. I mean, if you bought down here, you probably just unloaded. Nice work. Nice work. You bought it at 130 and you just sold at 960 to 1,000. Go look at the 10-minute. Holy shit, isn't it? Again. At the open, they couldn't sell fast enough. That was yesterday. They did the same thing at the open today. Same thing around lunchtime. Somebody's just heading for the exits. But, I mean, could it go higher? I mean, red alert on this. I'm putting a freaking arrow on this one. Look, because again, we've picked inflection points on this one pretty well. And not saying that it has to, like, it's just near term, in my opinion. Kind of like these, Or worse, your chop and more likely top. Netflix. I'm amazed anyone be buying this over the 600 level. But is this or like an end of the month trap? That's what I'm keeping an eye on. It feels like it. Roblox, as we talked about, 47s, no love. Tesla. Everyone wants it. We talked about it. If you held on to this thing, you are the definition of a bag holder. And this is what be careful with. You never know when NVIDIA or any of these tech names price in the future. And then the future has to happen. And then guess what? It does happen. And the stock is nowhere near where it's at. Here you go. Apple getting out of the car business, flagging up, needs to break out. I forgot the SMH. No, I didn't talk about it. Airbnb, we talked about chopping at the highs. Man, I don't see any good business for them going forward, but again, we'll see what happens. Costco making new highs. Man, that thing has been fire. Starbucks, not fire. Looks like a big choppy, sloppy mess, man. If it breaks this channel, Federal Express, we talked about it. This thing should be on fire. It should be like if the economy's great, FedEx should be woo. Caterpillar, we keep, man, this 329, 330 area. Look at this. Closed over it. Interesting. That feels like a top and chop. Nucor, I mean, remember, talk about straight line moves, go choppy and sloppy. Nucor breaking out, but man, there's a channel above and it seems to be stuck. X, I do not think they will get out by Nippon, meaning U.S. Steel. I just don't know how low the bid or how much it would drop. The VALE, chop. The Arrow, chop. I mean, look at all these commodity names. Chop. Oh, look at that. Hit the 200-day. Congrats. And Doinkster. CCJ. We warned, folks. Double top. Man, if this dies out here and fails, yeah. You can see this one back in the low 30s. Pronto. CF again. I don't like commodities. Again, I don't like them until the Feds pivot. Because they're going to be trying to kill inflation. They're going to try to push this stuff down. I mean, again, at some point, it's probably like pushing on a basketball at the pool, trying to push it underwater. It probably won't work, but until then, I don't want to be early. NTR, same kind of thing. Aaron. I mean, look at these names. XLFer. Now, got to give it credit for trying to break out and then coming right back. JPMO, again, another just 195 riding the highs. And people are like, oh, what about? I'm like, dude, define your risk. This is the easiest trade in the world because if things happen like I think they're going to happen, financials are toast. Morgan Stanley not acting well. Bank of America chopping. Goldman Sachs, man, it could not get over 395. Chop. Look at KRE today. You would think it would be up today with the financials up, down 53 cents. Got nothing. XBI. This one's a little curious because, again, high volume after a decent move. Is this a top near term? And again, I've said this many times. Maru. Be careful with these baby buyers. They love lower rates. So again, if maybe rates are going lower, but this has been in a big sloppy chop zone. And if this thing breaks out, great. If it doesn't, it's an absolute strap. Tan, solar. Talked about this, nothing. Going nowhere. Sedge, good luck. Anyone buying this is silly. ENPH, same thing. Chopping. First Solar had their earnings. Again, I don't even care about the numbers. Look at the reaction. Gaps up, give it all back. I mean, that's what it just shows you. HYG again. I mean, I think you got to be high as a kite to buy corporate debt going into a recession. Be careful. All right, last but not least, oil and gas. Oil chopping around. Nothing really say. I mean, it's just be careful with these names. I personally like natural gas. We talked about that. That's all we like. And then near term, I mean, I think there's not much downside. That's where shorting KOLD up in the 170s was the trade. That was the trade. Now this thing is going to decay. You're welcome. I mean, that is the easiest trade. I don't know who took it, but if you did, I love you. Well done. XOP. Because again, UNG is hard. It just decays. Man, I was talking about this today with someone. I can't get over the 140s. Maybe it does tomorrow. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Exxon Mobilev. Chop. I mean, big chop zone. Oxy. Big chop zone. Just zoom out. You're like, fudge. Man, I don't want to play with these names until they do anything. Valero. Now, we talked about the gas names holding up pretty well. But then, look, 2 days, doof. I mean, somebody knows something about the economy of gasoline names start flopping. Riding a channel high, failure. Right? Be careful. EQT, I mean, natural gas, I like it long term. Especially with Flex LNG. We like Flex LNG long term. Just be careful. All right, I told you guys these levels are probably important. I would prefer somewhere in the 16 level. If you have any questions, please reach out. Always here to help. Check out the Discord room. I'm telling you, well worth it. Appreciate all you guys posting. If you have any questions about anything, use the Calendly link, schedule, let's chat. Let me know how I can help. Talk to you later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.